Alex Murdaugh on trial for the murders of his wife Maggie and son Paul. It's a twisted tale of murder, money, and lies. But is Alex Murdaugh guilty of murder? I'm Anjanette Levy, and welcome to Law and Crime Sidebar podcast. Jury selection in the double murder trial of Alex Murdaugh is well underway in Colleton County, South Carolina. Prosecutors contend that Murdaugh, a former prosecutor and lawyer, killed his wife and son on June 7th, 2021, because of immense pressure he was under as he was being forced to produce financial records in a civil case where he was being sued for a boat crash that killed Mallory Beach in 2019. Paul was actually facing criminal charges for that crash. On the day of the murders, prosecutors said Alex's law firm confronted him about money missing from the firm. So a house of cards he had built over many years was about to come crashing down. That's the prosecution's theory here. Joining me to discuss the trial of Alex Murdaugh is Fil Waters. He is a retired homicide detective. He worked high-profile homicides for more than 33 years at the Houston Police Department, also the president and founder of Kindred Spirits Investigations. Fil, welcome back to Sidebar. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Anjanette. It's a pleasure to be here with you again.
Fil, what is the challenge of prosecuting and investigating somebody who's so high profile? This is somebody who worked as a prosecutor in some respects, is from a legal dynasty in the area. Investigating somebody like that for a double murder has to be a challenge.
Well, it is a challenge for the detectives initially because, of course, when you enter something like this, you have to be objective. So they have to let evidence lead them where they need to be. And when you have a high profile person involved in it, it takes on a different context only from an external viewpoint. So the challenges for the detectives are going to be directly related to the homicide investigation itself.
As far as the evidence goes, what are you looking for and what do you hope to see from your perspective as a former homicide detective to show that this guy likely committed this crime?
Well, there are so many crimes that he is alleged to have committed. The fraudulent embezzlement of stealing of funds from his family law firm and from clients and so forth and so on. And then you have the murders. Then they're looking at another murder, Stephen Smith, who was a friend of one of his boys, and in 2015, who died. They're looking at that case. So there are so many investigative aspects to this one particular case that it can be overwhelming, but they're looking at all those aspects, and the challenges are what are we going to present in this trial that's going to have the affirmative links that are going to shore up a successful prosecution.
This is happening in a small town. Walterboro, South Carolina, has a population of a little more than 5,400. Colleton County, the population is a little more than 38,000. So there are going to be a lot of eyes on this, not only from the people in the area, but nationwide, possibly internationally. Does that amp up the pressure when taking something like this to trial? He's supposed to be treated no different than anybody else in the criminal justice system, but is that really realistic?
Well, that's what the system is designed to do, but that's not the reality, of course. And because of who this person is, because of who Alex Murdaugh is, because of who his family is, I mean, you can't script this stuff. This is a family that had all the power, prestige, money. I mean, they had everything. And apparently for Alex Murdaugh, it just wasn't enough. And so the prosecutors, of course, have to present this in a manner in which it doesn't show that he's being favored in any way, in either way. So it is a challenge just because of the notoriety of the person involved in this.
He's filed paperwork saying he has an alibi. So this is going to be an alibi defense. Also, 2 guns used in this crime. I would think that his defense will say, this wasn't Alex Murdaugh. This was 2 shooters, 2 people. One used a rifle, one used a shotgun.
Well, I guess you could call it 2 people, a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, right? And they use different weapons, but it's the same individual. That would be what the prosecution, I'm sure, is going to present. I don't know what his alibi is going to be, but I can't imagine his alibi is going to have to be something so utterly fantastic to take the evidence in some place that he's hoping it'll go. And I just don't see that happening in this case. The evidence is very, very strong.
Well, we will be watching it for sure, and we know you will be watching it,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we hope you come back to talk to us about it as it proceeds, as the case proceeds.
Be happy to do that, Anjanette.
Fil Waters, thanks so much as always.
Take care. And that's it for this edition of Law and Crime Sidebar Podcast. It is produced by Sam Goldberg and Michael Deininger. Bobby Szoke is our YouTube director. Alyssa Fisher handles our bookings, and Kira Bronson does our social media. You can listen to and download Sidebar on Apple, Spotify, Google, and wherever else you get your podcasts. And of course, you can always watch it on Law and Crime's YouTube channel. I'm Anjanette Levy, and we will see you next time.